Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of DM Talks. I'm your host, Sarah DM, and this is your favourite wellbeing podcast that aims to promote wellbeing, assist healing, and I completely forgot what I'm fucking saying. What the fuck? Okay, everyone, welcome to another episode of DM Talks. I'm your host, Sarah DM, and this is a podcast that aims to promote wellbeing and assist healing, whether that be physically, mentally, or spiritually. Ultimately, we just want to be seen in our entirety, and this podcast is to show listeners how multifaceted they are. We're all the center of our own universe, so why don't we do more to better our own existence? Hello, everyone. Hi. Just see me falling over my words there, but Mercury moved into, I want to say Gemini.
No, it's gone into the shadow period of the retrograde, but it's not in Gemini yet.
So Mercury has moved into the shadow period of the retrograde, meaning that communication, whether it's on the technological level, whether it's in your day-to-day, is going to be up in arms over the next 6 weeks. But I'm going to embrace it because, there's no way out, there's just through, isn't there? So I'm really excited to have a guest who knows all about that. They're a Gemini moon. They've been here before. They're a Taurus baddie. They're an oracle, claircognizant, bad bitch, dresses cute all day, every day, eats good. She's just that girl. She is that girl. Like, the girls who get it. The girls who don't. Welcome to the virtual stage, Rianne.
Insert horns.
Literally, I will. I'm learning to be more tech savvy, so you will see new horns. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm really happy to be back. Thank you for having me. Love the intro, all the things. My name's Ree the Oracle. I am a tarot reader, Reiki healer, and just genuine spiritual
baddie,
yeah. And I'm really excited to be here today with Sarah.
No, honestly, thank you so much, because you helped me out as well, because I needed to have a conversation with you, but I just didn't know when I could do it. So it's like, you helped me out by having this conversation, but also providing me content with this week's episode. And it's nice because normally I pre-record my episodes and release them, but now this one's going to be fresh. This one is literally going to come out on Sunday for all the people to hear, and I'm really excited to have the conversation. How's your week been? Shall we catch listeners up with what you've been doing since you've gone? So when was the last time you were here? You were here in September or October or something? The last retrograde, actually.
It was quite a while back. What have I done since then? I quit my day job. Mm-hmm. I've been focusing a lot on my health. That all happened. So basically, when the nodal shift went from Gemini Sagittarius to Taurus Scorpio. Mm-hmm. And when that happened, I quit my job because Taurus went into my kind of 6th house, which is like work and health. So I decided to quit my job to prioritize my health, which was really aligned. And through that, I've been really just focusing on myself. I have a disability, rheumatoid arthritis, it's a chronic illness, and it was causing me a lot of difficulty in my day-to-day, and I just needed a break. So I've been off now since the end of January, so I've just been kind of resting and doing cute things like hydrotherapy. And
amazing.
Yeah, it's just been really nice. I'm really assisted by the transits that have been going on. I feel like, I don't know, I've never felt so aligned in my life. Everything is really great. And I took a break from a lot of spiritual work from the last time we spoke, but now I'm kind of back full throttle and embracing myself as a spiritual leader in these streets. So check me out at Read the Oracle. I have been posting loads of tarot content, loads of spiritual content, and I'm really enjoying it.
Honestly, you've been doing bits and bobs, and like listeners, you need to all follow Ree on Instagram because she started this new service called Music Divinations. And when I tell you, straight, concise reads. They could be blessings, they could be drags. I mean, even if it's a drag, it's still a blessing because, like, you know how you guys have. Well, in Instagram, there's like an ask a question box. Rianne will be like, "Oh, ask me a question about tarot." So all of the public send her a question and she finds a song and then gives an interpretation of what the cards say in response to your question. And wow, spirit really came through. Great idea. I love it.
Honestly, because I think music is such a powerful form of divination, right? And it's something that's so accessible to so many people, even if you don't have any tools like cards, crystals, smoke, whatever people use to divine, right? And I just used to notice that my ancestors used to talk to me a lot through song. And when I was really struggling with my intuition, I started doing it for myself personally. So I would pull the cards, look at them, and the song would come in my head and I'd listen to the song, and normally the message would be within the song. And I thought, wow, this is really cool. Let me ask other people, right? And it's just been really amazing, and it's just a really cute way to provide a service to people through art and through creativity and through creation. And a lot of songs have so much wisdom in them, right? Like it's so amazing.
That honestly, listeners, you have to do this because honestly, like I remember when I sent you my question, and like I sent in the question, and then I sent a follow-up question like immediately after each other, and literally like I didn't realize how much I needed to hear it. The tears were just like streaming down my face, and like you'd message me like, let's say a couple of moments after, being like, "Oh, I hope you're okay," and I'm like, "Babe, no, I needed to hear it." Like, you've got me on a good day. I've just come out of therapy. Like, I'm literally like, I want to be vulnerable. I want to experience humility because right now I can like use it for my growth. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was there.
I need to stop making people cry in readings. We were out on Saturday night together, right? And I made someone cry, obviously lovingly. But I read their birth chart for them just really quickly at the table, and they just started crying, and I was just honestly.
But that's not. But like, sorry, don't mean to interrupt. But like, that's not like it. It literally is a form of release. Like, it's a form of release. Like, I'm sure I've told you on the phone. Oh my goodness, I keep on going. I keep on going invisible because these fucking rabbits. Wait, maybe if I move this a little bit closer to me, I won't go invisible anymore. But yeah, no, I must have told you at some point over the phone where I will need to cry, and then the fact that I realized I need to cry will not allow me cry. So I'm there like on the verge of tears, but I can't get it out. And it's honestly like the most painful, let me not lie. It's not the most painful thing, but it's the most irritating thing because I need to release. And like, even when you gave the reading to the person that we met on the birth chart,
shout out Leah.
Yeah, shout out Leah. You were able to like hold space to someone that you never knew. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've just met this person before, and like the fact that like your words, your spirit team was able to invoke emotion meaning that needed to be expressed out. So like, I don't think you should apologize for making people cry. Like, if anything, we should be thanking you.
No, honestly, I don't. I'm not.
It would never be malicious.
No, and I've started to realize like it's just part of like my role as a reader, as a healer, right? And I can't really be. One of the things that I really like to focus on in my work is actually improving people's lives. And sometimes that means having very uncomfortable and difficult conversations. Amen. Because a lot of the time when you can go to different types of coaches, healers, therapists, or anything like that, and they just kind of allow you to sit in like this cycle of beliefs that are just not serving you anymore. Mm-hmm. And as I work with people, as I continue to work with people, I just want to be able to say the things that need to be said so we can move forward and we can move on. And I will always, within my services, offer the most loving support through that. But it's just we need to be uncomfortable sometimes. And even with the tears, like I said, like we've spoken about, it is just a release. It is just, oh wow, I needed to hear that. And like you said, like I'll always message, the aftercare is always there, right? I will hold you through that. And so I just don't want anyone to get the impression that I'm just out here like throwing, just I am ready to cry, because that is not the case. But I like, my work is really powerful, and I'm really trying to step into that more. So yeah, thank you for shining a light on that.
Honestly, you do Dark Side of the Moon. It's literally like helping people, like navigating people through the trenches. Like some people don't even know if they're in the trenches. So the fact that they're able to, even through tears, that's a validation, you know, and that's a reassurance that they have in that shadowy aspect. So I'm here for it. Like, if anything, like from where like I couldn't cry for so long, like I'm like, thank you. Thanks. But no, honestly, I've had many readings from Rianne, and they've all come with a quickness, softness, a vim. So I implore, encourage, and all those good things there for listeners to go check her out. But before I big you up anymore, let's go into other things that we can big up. We're going to go into the divine, and this is where we nominate a good thing. So for this week, I'm going to nominate a TV show, right? Have you watched Naughts and Crosses?
I've read Naughts and Crosses, but I haven't watched it.
So Naughts and Crosses is a book, well, I mean, as you know, is a book that was written by Mallory Blackman, about two lovers called Callum and Sephi, and how they sort of fight for their love in a society that wants them to be apart. One of the characters is Black, another character is white. So they are like in an interracial relationship, but it's in the perspective of like the society where the Black people are the higher class or the upper class. And you see how the experiences sort of like switched compared to like what we see in society today. And oh my God, so I watched season 1, lit, like incredible for style, fashion, intensity. Like there's this one character called Lekon, and oh my goodness, I want him every time I see him, because he literally invokes that much out of me. And so they had one series on BBC One and shot in South Africa. So there's so much like beauty in the scenery and their storytelling, which I really, really appreciate. But season 2's just come out, and I thought there was going to be like one episode each week, so I can, regulate my streaming habits, right? I find out there's only 4 episodes. I watched 3 today.
Of course.
Oh God, I have a problem. And like, I want more. I haven't watched the last episode because I was like, Sarah, if you watch this whole season today, then you're going to be so gutted, because you literally found out about it this morning. Like season 2 is out. So the season 2, it was so beautifully shot. It is a carry on from the drama that they leave in season 1. If anything, I just want there to be more shows. I know, more episodes, and it's so entertaining. I just want more of it. So I don't want to like say too much about the show, because I know I want people to watch it. I want listeners to like watch it. But also, I just love the storytelling. I love the style icons. I love the characters. I love the music. I love the dynamics of drama within the show. I love the humanistic perception of all these characters as well, because like we're both Black women, and Black women have like been having a lot of extra energy directed to them over the last 2 weeks. So it's been very like it's brought up a lot of stuff. We'll probably more feel sensitive than we usually do, and I'm sure we'll talk about that more in Decoding the Masses. But watching a show where essentially Sephi, who's a Black woman who is like the lead, and seeing the way that the world fights for her, the way the world loves on her, like it was so like, I knew I needed to watch this show today, especially after this past week, because it's such a reflection on like how bullshit racism is and how bullshit misogynoir is. And like, if, let's say in an example in the show where the white people are the underclass, you can obviously, it's a show and these people are vulnerable, so you're also going to empathize with these characters. But then you realize, like, if we can display, portray, have these emotions to said people, why is racism having such an impact on our society and the reality, you know? And like, it's really, really interesting because the show will push you, trigger you, not like in a way that you can't physically watch it, but in a way that makes you really, really think about your power and your accessibility. Like, I always remember on the first episode, Callum, I think he cut his finger, and Seffi went and got him a plaster and just gave him a plaster to put on his finger, and the plaster was black, and he's obviously a white boy. And it's just so many different like intricacies and details that they place in to make you understand that racism is influenced in so many ways of structures and like, well, power, accessibility, like I said again. And even saying that, like, last a couple of weeks ago, this is random thought, but a couple of weeks ago, I got plasters, and it was the first time that I've ever had plasters for dark skin. And I just thought that was wild. I thought it was so wild. But anyway, the show, Naughts and Crosses, it was great. Loved it. Recommend. It's on BBC. Everyone should watch it.
Thank you. I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm really not into watching shows at the moment. I don't know why. I'm the opposite of you. You've got binging issues. I've got abstinence issues. I can't get into anything. So, but maybe I might watch that one. So for my divine nomination, I want to nominate Kelechi. Honestly, a baby girl. She has been through so much this last week and has still managed to do so much that I just feel like she deserves all the love. Mainly, so initially it was the stuff on Twitter where the
community,
the group of guys created this community, and they basically said that her and Alani needs to be exterminated, which is just a vile thing to say. Can we just say?
It's also like terrifying.
It's terrifying. Like, who says exterminated? Do you want to exterminate frigging rats? I mean, like, who says
that word?
No, who says
black women?
Talk about anyone, but specifically, like, it just goes to show the level of misogynoir that you feel that it's acceptable to say that, right?
Exactly.
To dark-skinned women. It's just wild. But obviously Kelechi, being a divine empress, came with the receipts. And I mean, 4 signs in Scorpio, you know she was going to do it in the most chef's kiss way. That podcast was amazing. I mean, she's the most eloquent cusser. Like,
she's literally like, she's an articulate dragger.
Honestly, the way she drags is so articulate that I honestly felt that I was reading it. I must have said in the group, like, you know, the drag is going to hit different when it starts with a Bible verse.
Literally.
Because I was like, no. It was just the mother of dragons that she just came through. It was beautiful. And you know what? She still managed to show so much compassion to those people, despite the fact that they did not deserve that level of he didn't deserve that level of compassion, and they didn't. And even seeing afterwards the tweets that were going around that were, again, very violent towards her. And then she still showed up for the Tim Westwood community that she created, and gave so space that she created, and was able to give so many like Black women the opportunity to talk and share their views, which is such a powerful thing. Like, who does that? Like, who else does that in the way that she does that? And I really feel like that was such a major part of him now being fired. And obviously she has been saying this for ages, years and years about Tim Westwood. And then finally, again, she creates another catalyst for something to be done about it. And I just think the fact that she can go in 1 week to being attacked in such a vile world, but still showing up. And the thing is, she'll be the same person to still show up for Black men, right? AKA the weakest link, right? She'll still be the one to show up in the future for them, despite how they treat her. And I just think like she is so divine. Like I genuinely feel that I will always respect her. True version of divinity. And yeah, I have nothing more to say.
No, but it's true. She's a baby girl. She literally
a baby girl.
What can't she do?
No, multifaceted babe. Multifaceted babe. And this is what I mean. Why do you hate her? Like, the thing is, when we both went to the live show, right?
Amazing.
Again, like, I don't know, that is another divine thing. Like, and she is just the most stunningly beautiful person, inside, outside, in the middle, across, like, and I just sit there and think, she's a baby girl. Like, she's so, honestly.
She's honestly, there's just so much to love about her.
Babylon does not deserve.
No, they don't. And it's just so sad because it's that whole thing of like, when does she get celebrated?
No,
like, she has done so much for the community behind the scenes and in like public places, and it's just so sad because the people that hate on her will always benefit from the work that she does.
No, 100%.
It's frustrating because like I just pray for her protection, her partner's protection, her family's protection, all of them, man, because it's like, well, all of them peoples, because like they literally are just, they're so private. They literally just mind their business. They're just existing, yet they're being used to trigger Kelechi because Kelechi is like just a public-facing dark-skinned Black woman. And it's just like, give me a fucking break. Like, well, don't give me a break. Give her a fucking break. Because it's just honestly, like, do you hate Black women or outspoken Black women that much that you are going to go out of your way to try and destroy her?
No, but honestly, like, out of their way to drag her and Oloni into a space that just didn't need to, like, I have no words. And I really just, like, when she was cussing them or cursing them in her podcast, I was like, my ancestors, I was like, wake up, you got work to do, because I am invested in this. Protect this woman, because honestly, these people, like she said, did she say 2025 or 3? I can't remember what date she said, but when her curse lands, I'm just going to be there.
Yeah, literally.
Sipping my tea and observing.
No, but it's so true, because it's like, at the end of the day, like, Kelechi literally just minds her business that you still want to hate. So if the curse has to land, curse lands, and it's not just going to affect you, but it's going to affect any connection that you ever built. And like, there's something about Kelechi, when she curses, she actually recharges me. I don't know what it is. It's like, the more that she talks, I literally feel like, I just feel so much more empowered. I feel so much more affirmed. And like, it's not directed to me, it's not coming through me, it's not around me, but there's something about how the way that she speaks, and she's really claiming her own and claiming her territory, because it's like, why should I move small when all these bullies try and overpower myself? So it's like, fuck that. I think she even said it at the start of the podcast, like, oh, I'm taking the reason why I gave you a warning in 2019 makes me realize now that I didn't go hard enough for you before.
No. And the thing is, it's like, it's sacred rage, isn't it? There's something so divine about sacred rage. And I think it's just like, women in general, just like Black women, dark-skinned Black women specifically, just need to be allowed sacred rage. There is an alchemizing process with that, and I just believe that they should be protected, as in dark-skinned women, Black women should be protected to be able to alchemize and have that process. And I think she really allows that, and again, like, she doesn't even have to do this, but the things that she does, just by
literally,
it's just so powerful. I like, for me, there was a time when I was going through such a rough time, and I remember I wrote a letter into Say Your Mind, and she read it out, and honestly, just her holding the space for my rage and my anger did so much. And I swear, like, it shifted things in the universe, and that like I swear God was like, nah, like I hear you.
I completely agree with you. A couple of months back, no, so early last year, I had a reading with her, actually read for me, and like the cards that she was pulling for me was so like valuable, obviously to the time, but they were making like timeline options opening up in the future. But also because I've been able to have a few conversations with her, she can understand like my personality and how my histories influence that personality. And like I remember I was saying something and she caught and she like sort of stopped me whilst I was saying something, and I was like, oh yeah, I know I should be grateful. I know I should be grateful. She's like, yeah, but Sarah, think about it. What are you being grateful for? Oh, grateful. You're being grateful, but what is the expense of? And I was like, my mental health. And she's like, well then, you know. And I basically bring this up that like she's an amazing tarot reader, but also she has such a beautiful balance, Libra, a beautiful balance of like telling you what you need to hear, being gentle with that information, but asking you to wake up as well. And like, I really, really appreciate that energy because it makes you feel so much more heard and seen. And for people who haven't been heard and seen before in earlier like points of their life, they can like just feel validated and move on. Not as in move on from their life, but like be able to like release their pains and frustrations and not bring them to the next days. So this and forever will be is Kelechi Stan podcast. We love Kelechi. Like she's honestly like I feel like I should just have a segment where I just like talk about why I think Kelechi's sick this week. Like
literally, you could do a whole episode and invite so many people on to talk about it. Like,
I love Kelechi.
I genuinely think more people need to be openly loving her up, like because of the amount of hate she openly gets. I was ready to fight people on Twitter. I don't even have Twitter, and I was fighting people on Twitter. So
no, I get you.
Yeah,
I hear you. But like I literally went. So I was in both Twitter spaces, the Trashy Tim Westwood and the Colorist Rites of Passage, and basically, like you know how she's got that charity. Not charity, sorry. You know how she's fundraising for a child, and exactly like we even talk. She's literally doing God's worst. She's doing all of this as well as fundraising a children's home in Nigeria.
Honestly.
And like,
and where's her G-Wagon?
Exactly.
If it wasn't the new moon or eclipse season, I would manifest for her, but I'm not going to do that because manifestation is not a good idea. But where's her G-Wagon? Like every time I'll be walking down the road, I'll be like, Kelechi needs a G-Wagon. It will randomly come in my head.
Like I literally like I want to just give her the keys. I want to get a job at the Mercedes place, so I can just get her the G-Wagon and then leave. And like, it's like an assignment done.
And I want the number plate to just say SYM. Like
literally, that's literally it. Or like maybe like SYM 555 or SYM 1111, just so she knows that she's divinely like guided, you know.
Or baby girl.
Literally, oh my god, nah, it has to be done now. Oh, basically, that's where we have to apply for jobs then.
No, come on, can we please book more readings with myself and Sarah so that we can afford to get Kelechi a G-Wagon?
No, but it's so true. It's so true. Like, oh god, I love that woman. But yeah, no, she's a G. Kelechi Stan podcast account. We send you so much love and light, Kelechi. You're the best. So that takes us to our next segment. And you said something a little earlier just about how you're not going to be manifesting during the new moon because it's eclipse season. And basically in this week's, sorry, I said that wrong. Let me say it again. Okay. What am I trying to... You know when you try and do a segue? I tried to do a segue into the next segment. And then I was like, I lost myself in that segue.
I'm screaming.
But talking about new moons and eclipse season, that takes us to our next segment, which is decoding the messes. Decoding the messes is where we unpack mess, whether we see it online or offline. And in this week's podcast, we are going to be talking about the blessings, the wahala, the frustrations, the ruminations. That's everything that's coming up during eclipse season. And yeah, you mentioned something about how you don't want to manifest during this time. How so?
Well, you're generally, as a rule, not meant to manifest during eclipse season. I do think it's something to do with the lack of light. So don't like quote me on this, but it's not very, as a general rule, it is not a very a good idea to manifest or actively search for anything. Really, the eclipse time is for rest, and that's probably why a lot of people are feeling extremely tired and drained, because like it's a lot is going on, right? I know for me, I'm exhausted, like I'm so tired, and I think it mainly because it's a time for release, right? Like even if you're not intentionally trying to release anything, like there are things that are coming up that are being forced to leave.
Definitely. Like we had a phone call fairly recently, and we were talking about how the mental capacity, the mental realm, has been doing digga digga, digga 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 da. It has been overactive, and for someone who has an overactive like mind space, anyway, I found it like really disheartening, because I was like, "Right, I'm never gonna have a clear mind again." Like I'm never. That's literally how I felt. And like after talking to you, saying how like eclipse season is influencing our mind, because I think we were talking about how the mental realm has so much restrictions that can't actually fathom the spiritual quantity of what we're doing. So that's why the mental is going up, down, up, down, up, down. What were we going to say?
I was just going to basically start by explaining like what's going on with the eclipse, because we're talking about eclipse, but we haven't actually discussed like what's
let's go in.
So basically, the north node and the south node, which are points in the sky, have shifted from Gemini from Sagittarius, which they were in for the last 2.5 years, in I think around January, to Taurus and Scorpio, right? So that means that in Taurus season and in Scorpio season, there is going to be 2 eclipse seasons. And this one in particular is happening in the sign of Taurus, which is my birth sign. But but it's basically where I said this pretty recently on the live, but where the last Gemini Sagittarius nodal cycle was about like the expansion of spiritual beliefs and like just the ascension to a higher way of thinking, because physically everyone was restricted. And if you think about it, what happened is we were all locked down, so a lot of people had a lot of time to really look into different forms of learning, healing, ways of living. Like honestly, like it completely changed the way we see the world, and was a very Gemini Sagittarius shift, right? And then that happened, that when it's shifted into Taurus and Scorpio, we have got this basically this shift from that spiritual experience into how we experience that in a human way, like in a human experience. So being a spiritual being in a human body, right? And what is really interesting about this is that we're kind of seeing that there's no way that we can really escape what's going on around us and the material, because Taurus is an embodied sign. It is a fixed earth sign. It's about the material. It's about feel, touch, taste, the sensuality, all the senses, but it's very grounded in what is going on, right? And what's happened is that this eclipse season is really bringing up a lot of really real things for us, things that we can't escape through we can't escape the body, we can't escape it. And it's not necessarily, I don't think, scary or a bad thing, because there's a lot of other transits that are happening that are actually really positive while this is going on and are supporting this. But what it does mean is that we are being forced to have a foundation or have fixed values or fixed just something foundational to hold on to as we're being swept across this transit. Do you know what I mean? So the reason why the mental space, I feel, is one of the ways that a lot of people are being affected a lot, is because when it comes to spirituality, the intellect and the mind is actually like the weakest link. Like it doesn't have the same ability to sense and feel like the other senses we have, like our spiritual bodies, our actual physical bodies, which have got really great intuition, right? But our intellect is one of the lowest forms of basically intuition, right? And they're saying that to someone that's quite claircognizant, it can be quite hard to determine what's going on if the brain is really oversaturated. And I feel like this shift from Gemini, Sagittarius to Taurus and Scorpio, what it's done is it's the healing that we did throughout the last season, the space that we had to heal and to really internalize, and really just look at our internal processes. Now we're kind of at a stage where we have to leave the stuff that we don't want behind, because we're now walking through to a new version of ourselves. Is this making sense, right?
Yes, it is making sense.
So if we cannot move forward to the new version, we can't move forward to the new version of ourselves with the old habits or beliefs still intact. And what is happening now is all the things that need to go are coming up louder than they've ever come up before. So it's almost like you're being attacked with your worst possible thoughts. Like that's what it feels like. Like you wake up in the morning, you'll be like, you're a piece of shit. Like you can't do anything. And those are things that you might have done 2 years ago. That might have been your reality 2 years ago. And now you've had a bit of peace because you've learned how to, whether it's through mindfulness, meditation or whatever, you've learned how to deal with it. And all of a sudden you're like, hold on, I've gone 2 steps back. And that could be the experience of going from a place of being quote unquote healed, which again is a process, but from going from there to going straight back to where you were, it's triggering as fuck, right? Like it's so triggering. And I think that's what a lot of people are experiencing. They're experiencing the waves of this transit hitting them through these limiting beliefs and are at the risk of believing that is what is happening, when in reality what is happening is we're being forced to a rebirth. Scorpio is the sign of death, rebirth. Do you know what I mean? We are being pushed to rebirth. We're being pushed to rebirth to be the people that can create a new world, in my opinion, right? To create a new institutions and way of living. And that's specifically why I'm using the Hierophant as a Taurus archetype to as a guidance through this eclipse.
Amazing. It's actually interesting that you said that as well, because I a couple of weeks ago maybe I came across an article called the Hierophant, and it was talking about how the Hierophant is literally the first physical manifestation of the spiritual experience. And it talks about sharing that knowledge, cultivating the education. It shows about the resourcefulness of the body, and understanding that there's so much information stored in the body that through life and experience and through patience, we just get to tap into more like acknowledgement of the information it's stored within. And it's really interesting because like we're literally our ancestors' dreams, you know? So like there's so much that is available to us once we slow down.
Yeah,
like,
which is a Taurus.
Exactly. Tauruses, they are slow and they are steady. They are sensual. They find, like, don't get me wrong, they like their things to look aesthetically like they like their things or whatever they create to like look good, but the process of getting to the looking good is also as valuable. And I don't mean like looking good in a materialistic like aspect. I mean, it can be, but also like, let's say, I think we even spoke about this fairly recently. Like, let's say if Taurus and Libra are Venus ruled signs, Taurus is going to be like plant the seed, transform the seed, show the seed. So is Libra, but the Taurus is like the beauty is subjective. Like something can be ugly, something can be and ugly literally can mean anything in this sense, but something could be like I don't know, the Gruffalo. It could be the Gruffalo. It could be Barbie. It could be nature. I mean, I could never see nature that's been ugly before, to be fair. But I mean, like, I'm trying to say how, like, the Hierophant archetype related to Taurus means that there's so much more, like, transformations of that beauty, whereas Libra might want to be more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I think there's something, especially about the sun in Taurus, which again, Alice Barkley Cat spoke about this so well, that is quite, I don't know, like, Taurus make their own aesthetic, right? They really, like, will mold it and roll in the dirt for it. They'll go and have that experience that is just gross, right? In whatever way to come out the other end and be like, that was amazing. That's just what I needed. And I just really enjoy that about being a Taurus sign myself. I can really, what I find about myself is that I can really get trapped in a moment. Not trapped, like I can be in a moment and really appreciate it. And it can really change and shift my mood. Like I can go and sit outside and sit down and look around and really, like, embody the moment. And especially when it comes to things like nature, right? And because it comes so naturally to me, like to move in that slow and steady pace, like a tree, like a flower, like it's just wonderful. Like I really love it. I really love nature work in general, but like as a Taurus, I feel like I'm really aligned with that. And so when this transit came, and I was pulling the Hierophant very regularly. 2 cards in Judgment, which was the calling, and the Hierophant, which was what I was obviously being called to. And what I think is really interesting about this transit is I really think a lot of people are going to be stepping up into roles that they maybe didn't feel ready for to do before. And I think Yakari, the astrologer, said that
we had a little technical error, but we're back into the recording. Do you remember what you were saying?
Yeah, so Yakari, the astrologer, was saying that she feels that this transit is specifically going to affect women, and we're going to see like a rise in women in leadership roles. And I really feel that myself. Like I feel like the Hierophant is saying step up, like you need to step up, and that's going to be so different. And you've seen how like women in general, I feel, have been stepping up, right? Because no one's going to save us. And I'm tired, like these systems are outdated. Patriarchy is outdated. And these systems, again, Taurus, the Hierophant, the card of institutions, right, is saying like what isn't working has to go. Does it fit our values? Is it working for us, right? So how I'm seeing, so the moral of this is like everything is crumbling, and that's how we feel. We can feel that on a micro level, but it's happening, you know, on a macro level, like in the universe, and specifically in our society. Everything is crumbling. Even if it's crumbling a little bit by little, it is very much crumbling. And I just we can see the cracks very clearly now. And the problem is we're in the house, right? So the cracks are happening and we're in the house. And if you see that as a metaphor of this eclipse, the only thing that we can do through that is build our own safety, right? Build our own foundations, build a way that we can get through this without being harmed. And how I translate that in a practical sense is to do that through knowing our values, right? Knowing who we are. And this is who we are, and our values shift and change as we grow, right? And as we said, a lot of us will have been doing a lot of healing work over the last couple of years. And I'm sure a lot of people that listen to this podcast can resonate with this a lot because they're the type of people that would be doing this work, right? So, and they're the type of people that would be like, I thought I was healed and all of a sudden this is really affecting me. But my advice is through the Hierophant archetype, which is about institutions, about values, about learning, about leadership, but also being led, right? Depending on which one you fall under. It's about the conscious and the subconscious meeting in one space, right? Like you said, it's the physical manifestation of the spiritual in the material. And through that, we have to become the Hierophant. So what are our values? What do we stand for? Right? What do we who are we? Like, how many times do you sit there and ask yourself, Sarah, who am I? Like, and I think a lot of people don't. And we move through this world wondering why people are not meeting us where we feel we are. And it's because we don't even know where we are, right?
But also as well, sometimes people can have a life experience that triggers them into thinking, who am I? You know, because let's say if you moved a certain way when you were 16, and then you have a life experience at 21 and you moved in a completely different way, and it shocks your system. You're like, but who am I if I'm not this person? You know, and it's just understanding how your values have changed and what actions that you take for those values. Like, we're talking about Taurus energy, which is grounded. That is behavior, you know, and it's like not just a reflection of how we create things, but what we do with those creations.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about what are we creating for. And a lot of the times our external life will reflect our actual values. And sometimes that could be outdated values.
Don't say that. Ouch. You hurt. It's good. This is for the collective. Sounding a little too personal. Okay?
No, but it's so true. Like, our external life, it's like me saying I really want to be successful, but I'm not disciplined. My values are not disciplined. But I will say in my mind, oh, I want to be disciplined, or I am disciplined. But if my external life is showing that I'm not disciplined and I'm not showing up every day, then bruv, that's a limited, outdated habit that you're dragging into. Like, so basically you haven't embodied the values that you want. And there is a difference between the values that you hold and the values like you embody and the values that you desire.
Yeah.
Right.
And even if you're talking, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but you remind me of the Three of Swords, not just necessarily because of the heartbreak pain, but because of the relation of your fantasy not matching your reality, and how you hurt yourself. And you get into a heart-stricken pain because it's not what you make it out to be, but what strategy can you take to go from A to B, you know?
Exactly. And this lunar eclipse, so the solar eclipse, I think is going to really, which is this Saturday coming, is really going to shine a light on where you're not showing up, where you're not, your values are not matching where you are. And this, for some people, will be like the layman person like myself who's recognizing shit. Like, if I want to do this, I have to do this, and I have to be that person, right? Or am I going to be, and I might even and to be that person, I have to let go of the things that no longer serve me. And that is hard, but even on a wider level, it's going to be like, what, this institution is not working. It's not actually doing, like, no white saviors is
everybody getting exposed. Everyone's
getting exposed. And it's just kind of like, oh, so you're not what you said you were. So if you're not willing to change, then we're going to show you who you are. Your thoughts are showing you. Do you know what I mean? They're showing you what you're holding on to. And if you do not sit there and go, okay, and I keep saying to a lot of people, my general advice is that with complete compassion, just monitor these thoughts, because what are they telling you? What are they telling you? They're not here. Especially, I want to say, like, truly, with the moon being exalted in Taurus, with the ruler of Taurus, Venus, being in Pisces and also exalted in that sign, with Uranus being conjunct with the moon. This is miracle energy right here, right? It's miracle energy. And so as much as, like, it's tough, we are being held through these transits, right? Because we need to change the way we're doing things in our personal life and in our interpersonal life, right? How we interact with other people. And that's why the Hierophant is so important, specifically in this, and the archetype that I am choosing to walk through with this, because I think by us knowing who we are, it acts as an anchor in a sea of just disaster, right? And we can find the people that are sharing our values, group together and create something new, right? And then that's where, like, the whole kind of community aspect, and in the Hierophant it's kind of shown like a church or a leader or like followers, but we're creating community, we're creating a way of living. It doesn't have to be, a lot of people are scared of the Hierophant because of religious trauma and dogma, which is understandable. For me, as a Sagittarius rising, and a ninth house, Jupiter in my ninth house, I'm extremely into any form of ritualistic practice. I love it. Like, religion is, I was the kid that was waking up on Sunday, like, are we going to church?
No,
like,
no,
that was me. Yeah, that was me, right? I was just like, so I am attracted to all forms of religious practices. I don't like religion. Like, I don't like religion, but I don't practice religion, and I do understand that there's failures within it, but I do understand the benefit of ritualistic practice. I created one that works for me, and I'm lucky that I don't have the trauma from like family or like faith. But like, what I've found in that creating that is it gives me personally life, right? It gives me something to anchor into. It gives me that, and we can do that for each other, but we have to know where we stand, and we have to be transparent. And then also the people that are not like us, they're okay. They're fighting their own battles. Like, and if we look at protection, like everyone being in the right space, we all have our own hills to die on. We all have to change the earth in our own way. And we can, as long as we're mutually respecting each other, it's all cool, right? Literally. But we need to know who our people are, right? We need to know who our tribe is. We need to like we need to be our authentic selves. And I really feel like, for me, this season is about just I wouldn't say exfoliating, or like just sweating out like the growth, like the parts of ourselves, the toxins, right? And even though like they weren't always toxins, again, with compassion, that part of yourself had to exist for you to survive. Like, you survived because of that self, and full compassion to who that is. But you have dreams, we all have dreams, right? And we have to meet spirit halfway. We have to show up materially for our dreams to be matched, right? And this energy is like, there are miracles, like there can be miracles if you believe. Do you know what I mean?
I literally just singing that.
Yeah,
miracles,
like literally
believe.
and it's even like, what I love about that song is this idea, like, you were moving mountains long before you knew you could, right? And that line always strikes me, because now you need to know that you can. You need to download all that, and you need to know that you can. Like, it's not enough for you to be like, oh, how did I manage up until then? Bitch, you need to be getting the receipts of how you manage. You need to download
inventory, like,
and download that into who you are now, and move as that person, right? You can't be sitting there still believing you're the same person that didn't move that mountain, because that belief system is not supporting you. Do you know what I mean? It's just not.
100%. Like, even as you were talking, like, I wrote down a few notes. Like, I pulled the Hierophant reverse twice yesterday, and I was talking about an idea with my spirit team. And at first I was like, right, like, what am I not, can't, what am I not doing? What am I not doing? And then also I looked at it again, and I was like, right, actually, I can cultivate this and I can shape it, but it needs to come with more compassion and more self-love. Because, like, right now I'm getting these cards, and at the bottom of the, let's say the spread was like an upside down triangle, at the bottom of the triangle was Ace of Swords reversed. And isn't that just a reflection of how our initial thought, our initial belief system needs to be intact, so that it can sprout the seed for whatever comes next? If mine is contaminated with doubt, it's going to influence the structure, you know? And like, the fact that you said something, how like loads of women are getting into like leadership positions. I've definitely recognized that. I've seen so many people step up, whether it's spiritually, physically, like in their like own lives. Like, even my friend the other day got promoted. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so many different like examples of, even recently I had Pink Cat on my podcast. She literally is leading her Instagram community to Web3, because she's like, look, there's a digital renaissance happening. None of the crypto bros are going to be teaching indigenous women, or women from different margins, or like non-binary folk, like whatever, about NFTs and stuff. Like they don't even remember to bring a jumper out for their child when they get cold. You know, like
Yeah.
Pink Cat is literally leading the revolution for so many people of a community, regardless of if they are minting projects or not. It's a place to get belonging, but also um, lead and make a pathway for their own lives. Because if we're learning about it all now in community, when 20 years down the line, when it's going to be everywhere, we're going to have that confidence of being able to learn about it at our steady space and not feeling like we have to learn about it like here and now and really, really fast and be in competition with all these people that want to get stuff. So that's what you also remind me of. Slightly off topic, but I told you that I watched Pam and Tommy recently. And if for those listeners, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Pam and Tommy is a limited series that talks about the lives of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. They were married. They actually were married after 4 days worth of knowing each other. And they even say it today, like they were the love of each other's lives. They're not together anymore, but in the 90s, maybe like 1998 or 1997, like really, really early, late 90s, got married. They recorded a sex tape between them two on their like honeymoon, right? They recorded it on their honeymoon. Long story short, the sex tape was in a safe. A safe was stolen by one of the worksmen that was doing work on Tommy's house. And this tape ended up becoming the first viral sex tape of celebrities. And like, you need to remember, this is literally just as the internet was forming out. So before it was like a camera recorder and it was going through friends, etc. But then it got online. And that's when it really, really plummeted this whole idea of consent, sexuality, all them things there. And I basically bring this series up to say, I was watching it and they humanized Pamela so much, which I was here for. And they just showed how much these guys were literally in a loving relationship, although at some points that they could do aka toxic behaviors, it wasn't necessarily the be all and the end all of their relationship. And I also want to say, like, Pamela got so much more worse treatment than the husband, and as women we are aware of that. But think about if you're a woman in the bloody 90s and you look like Pamela fucking Anderson, who's literally like at the plight of a career, like she's literally on Baywatch when this show came out, you know. Long story short, watching the series, the person who leaked the sex tape is also encouraged in he also loves spirituality things, he also loves occult things, and he goes to a tarot reader, right? He goes to a tarot reader and he was like, why does this all happen to me? Why is life happening like this way? And I thought I believed in karma. I thought this was happening. She's like, the reason why your karma didn't work out for you is because you hurt others in the process. And like, this might not be in the specific to obviously what happened to the real life story with Pamela, but he literally was watching the star card and like he put two and together. He was like, the star is Pamela, you know, like he's, even though he wanted to get back at the man who disrespected him, he hurt Pamela in the process, and that influenced the whole of Pamela's career. Like, it's 2022 and we're still talking about how jeopardizing sexuality, autonomy of women's bodies are, and to this day and age. So having someone at the plight of their career be so influenced by a system that is patriarchal, that is toxic, that is greedy, because she was in media, you know, it made me really, really think about the devil card and how like there's so much structures within society that are crumbling away, and we need to be comfortable with ourselves whilst they crumble so we can release those opinions, beliefs, projections, because like now this show was a reflection of what happened at the time, but this show also is a massive like congratulations to both of their characters, because women weren't able to have shows like this. Women were seen as objects. And especially if you were Pamela Anderson, who was literally like a big boobed blonde white lady, like people wanted to project their fantasies onto her because of her perception. And like, it's just, as you were talking, I'm just thinking about how much she's had to work and fight for her authenticity and her autonomy. And these are other, like, I guess, chapters, not even chapters, but these are other perspectives that we're like taking in now. Because if we really want to feel like stand forthright on our own hill, we're going to have to have the confidence of just accepting the unknown and understanding that whatever was working for us before isn't going to work for us now, and really, really lean into that energy.
Yeah, definitely. And when you talked about the devil card, and about how these systems need to crumble and how our attachment to these systems need to crumble. For things to be able to crumble, we still need to start creating what's going to replace those. Do you understand what I mean? And this is where the Hierophant and then the Lovers, which is that kind of, the Lovers card is like the same, almost literally the same as the Devil, right? But it's, if you look at it, it's two people and an angel up above. So they're a mirror of each other, but different. And when I think about the Hierophant, I think it is about setting the foundation for the Lovers card, right? And this is what we're doing. We need to decide what we're going to build instead of the devil.
Yeah.
But we can't just sit there and go, oh, let the devil crumble and not have anything to put in the place.
You're so right. But also we need to be like, we need to, oh, you said something. Oh, that's going to annoy me. It just came. Okay. No, you just said, we need to know what we want to replace, so the devil doesn't come back, basically. Right? Yes, we need to know what we have to replace, but also we need to be proactive in the momentum of it, because if we aren't like using the attention to detail, we don't know what beliefs, what energies, what other things could sweep through the cracks, and therefore project into a new devil. You know, like people say new devil all the time, and like spirit has literally been warning us all for the past like 2 years. Like even as you're speaking, I'm thinking about Kelechi's podcast at the start of lockdown, and she did a podcast and she literally told you like about all these different systems that we've got to fall down, and even the monarchy. She was talking about everything. Like if I can find the podcast episode, I'll link in the show, because it's literally like March 2020, like peak COVID times, and everything that she said came true, and it's just coming truer because they're greater things that I need to fall.
Yeah, and even look at like how countries are now rejecting the royal family. It's just, the institutions are going to fall, right? But we need to know who we are. We need to build our values. We need to build the foundations of what our new society is going to be built. And this starts with us. It starts with the individual, and then it is built in community. And like, we have to move forward in a way in which we are with integrity, right? A really like weird example is like how when Russia like had the revolution against like the Romanovs, and then built literally like this really wild communist state, right? It's just like it like, it just like, for me, it's just kind of like, is what if nothing is working as it is, we can't, there is a third way, right? There is a third way, but we can create that. Like, we are evolving constantly. Again, like I don't know how the Russian and the thingy was just about how like sometimes you can knock something down that's not working and bring something that is like in some ways really bad, like really even also really talking, toxic or bad.
I'm thinking of, have you ever watched Hunger Games?
No.
So basically Hunger Games, like I'm sure you know the synopsis, just people like basically kids from different districts fight for royalty, money, whatever. At the end of the series franchise, the people that used to fight said, oh, now we're going to do a Hunger Games with the capitalists as children. And everyone's like, Excuse me.
Yeah.
Have you not suffered for years?
Yeah. No, but it's like the episode. Do you watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the episode.
Sorry.
Yeah, but you know the episode when they do like the what's it called, the purge, and then they completely like destroy the purge. But because no one was planning anything new, they just go back to doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's literally what will happen if we don't start creating something new.
Honestly, it's so. Wait, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be right back. 2 seconds. Look at my new top.
Ah, Rick, love it.
It says at the bottom, looks like you got yourself in a lick of trouble.
I love Rick so much.
Honestly, he's such a character. He's such a Capricorn, though, isn't he?
No, he's a Pisces.
He's a Pisces.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
I mean, he could be like I can't lie. He reminds me of someone who's exactly like a Capricorn.
Really? Now he gives me like Pisces energy because he's so delusional and toxic.
But, like, I mean, that's true, but like I do think
I think Pisces are toxic.
No, it's fine. I mean, like, it's absolutely fine. I literally have 4 Pisces places. I would say he's a Pisces Venus, but the way that he builds has to have Earth energy, and he's repairing himself. No shade, Capricorns, but isn't that like your job?
I don't know. His obsession with Morty gives me codependency, which also gives me Pisces.
That's true. That's true.
So maybe he's got a Capricorn moon, because that would make sense. But his sun sign gives me Pisces, like Capricorn. Yeah, so like Pisces sun, Capricorn moon, and a water sign rising as well, because he's an alcoholic. So like. So maybe Scorpio. I don't know.
That's hilarious. No, that's so funny. No,
I'm cracking up because people will be like, "What do you mean, alcoholic water signs?" I'm not generalizing. I'm just saying water. Like for me, I drink beer in Pisces season, in it. So let me mind my business.
No, no, you're just making me laugh. What was I going to say? No, we've covered so much on Decoding the Messes. I'm so grateful for your insights, our shared knowledge. I like it because we're able to bounce back at each other. So like I really like appreciate our conversations because it's just it's like just expansion, you know. And we just cover so much. Is there any pockets of advice that you want to leave listeners with as they embrace this solar eclipse?
I really think rest as much as possible. Like really like be gentle with yourself. Like if you're going to, I don't think you need to actively do anything apart from like monitor your thoughts, especially like coming up to the season. Like this comes afterwards, right? On the Sunday after the eclipse. But like, yeah, I just really say rest. Like it's Taurus season. So really listen to the body. The body has tons of wisdom. The body over the mind, right? But secondly, it would be to really establish your value system. And again, I'm going to just plug my workshop really quickly because I'm having a workshop on the Monday, on the 2nd, which is going to be supporting people in solidifying their values through the Hierophant archetype. And yeah, I really think that if anyone is really struggling with that, it's a really, really practical way to do this work. And I think it will really help people move forward with some solid plans. Because I really like, again, I'm a Taurus myself. I really like practical, solid plans. I really like a stepping stone to something. I don't want it to be really esoteric. I just want it to be like, okay, yeah, I know like the stars and moons and this and that is doing all this, but please just tell me like what I can do to get through this.
No, for sure. No, honestly, that was 10/10. That was honestly 10/10. And I feel like we should take it to Tarot Talks because I keep on laughing because like, are we talking? Then I'll completely disappear and I'll be like, she's back again. Whoa, this is a whole nother level to the glitch sound, you know? But no, that takes us to Tarot Talks. And I think we should, I'm trying to think, do you have a question for Spirit?
Do I have a question for Spirit? No, not really. Apart from how to navigate this eclipse, but I think we've kind of said it. Like as an oracle, I really think like.
No, it's so funny. Okay, let me just give you some tea, listeners. So Ree is literally an oracle. Ree is claircognizant. So like she'll say shit, but like her cards are just evidence. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, it is. Sometimes
it reminds me of like an essay. Like, you know, when you have an essay for like whatever, and you have to have your like own original thoughts, and then you have to have like evidence to back up your argument. That's literally what cards are to you.
Yeah, sometimes even like when I'll know the answer to something, I'll be like, oh, now I've got to pull the cards. And then I'll be like, oh, I hope, and then I'm like, I hope the cards match. And then they do. And I'm just like, oh, so technically I didn't need the cards. But a lot of the time people want the cards. I understand it. I'll enjoy them. For me, they help mirror and solidify and ground my claircognizance and my gift. So I adore them. But I do want to get to a stage in the future when I'm coaching clients where it's just coming through my intuition and as opposed to the cards.
No, it will definitely come, because like you never know. Like I think also like I'm sure different clients for you will promote different things, and as you like share your gift, it's just going to get louder and louder and louder and louder of how you can like show it. Because I remember the first time I met you, you literally you didn't have cards on you, just saying shit. Do you know what I mean? And like you didn't realize how much, because you didn't know my history and you didn't know, much about me. You could literally just go from what your spirit was telling you, and they were all true. But now that you've got to know me more, you're able to like maybe even say said messages just quicker, you know, like it's not, you know what I mean? It just shows you how like with your gift and with like that spiritual like honing of those gifts, it can only just expand. So that's amazing. Lovely. That takes us to our tarot reading. Okay, sick. Can you breathe in and out for me, please? Hi, ancestors, spirit team, collective. I am praying for no projections. I'm asking for clear communication as I navigate and lead this tarot discussion. What do we need to know, Spirit? We've given advice about the solar eclipse. Is there anything that you want to tell us? Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Spirit, please could I have some practical advice? Some practical. Our spirit teams love us each other. Like love us each other. Sorry, I didn't say that. Our spirit teams love us together. No, they really, really do. Because like even when I read with you around you, it's just more concise. It's just really like, here it is. But yeah, Spirit, is this card for me? Is this card for me? But what? Okay, no. Spirit, any practical advice? Any solutions? Any like, tell me how to do this? Oh, okay. Am I leaving this? Okay, don't leave that. And then, okay, shit. All of these are major arcanas, by the way.
It's very big energy. It's extremely big energy. Big. Like I haven't not pulled a major arcana card. I'll be surprised. It's a full there, because if it's not like...
No, it's not actually.
Oh, interesting.
Can you pick a number between 1 to 3, please?
2.
Okay. Oh, accident. Well,
no such thing as an accident.
But now I'm like, basically I've got 4, so here we are. Basically 2 each. Me. Okay, so start off. First card I got was the World and the Sun reversed, right? The World, completing lessons, right? And I love this. Okay, actually, this is something that I struggle with every time I use this deck, but no, you can't even fucking see that. Okay. Basically, this is the world, right? You're going to see that it's the earth and it's pouring into a cup, but someone is holding the cup like that. And it's beautiful because it reminds me of Ace of Cups, initiation to your beliefs, initiation to your heart space. And the world is a completion, graduation, reflection of all the lessons that you've learned on this time. They've pulled from celestial forces to guide you to your decision making. And that means that the world has allowed you to open up to the new vessels that you are creating. And I mean this to say, like, there's like a desert underneath this card. There is craters that are opening up for this individual to stand in. And I feel that is sort of reflectant of this portal energy that the eclipse has. Like, we've said it in previous discussions where like this portal is opening up for us so that it's going to bring up our shadow, but we're releasing our shadow. So the best parts of ourselves move through that portal. And I think this is a confirmation of spirit to understand that we are shedding characters, frustrations, ideas, and projections that we once had. Because in this world, the world is actually crying. So it's the earth crying, their faces in the shape of a heart, and it literally goes back into the Ace of Cups. Well, not the Ace of Cups, but a figure holding with a cup. And this just makes me think about how we're releasing any frustrations, releasing any hostility, releasing and shredding the things that we need to let go of so it can reignite I was going to say new flame, but I don't think it's that, because I don't see fire energy in the card. Well, actually, no, I take that back. So we are shedding our parts of ourselves that's reigniting an old flame that is going to fuel ourselves and our momentum to the new day. And I bring this up to say the Sun card was the next card, but we also have the Tower at the bottom of the deck. And the Tower is literally a burning building of external and emotional experiences catapulting us to a breakdown or a breakthrough. But in this depiction of the Tower, the two characters are just watching it from above. And it's literally like they're sitting on a tree whilst they watch their home burn to the ground, or they watch their old narrative that they had of themselves burn, and they're not afraid because they're literally sitting next to their spirit team with a sun in the back. And I think there's a part of me that's like, okay, let me see if I can change my background because you need to see these cards. So see the world crying into their portal expansion, right? The sun next to it is asking us to be optimistic, to shed more light on the things that bring us joy. It's asking us to be illuminate all the parts of ourselves that need attention. Don't just give value to what is blooming, what's on the surface, but what is within you that can give you like an emotional fulfillment. Because when I see this world is literally crying, like crying into their cup, and this is brightening this person's future. But at the bottom of the deck is the Tower, and like look at the sun at the background, background, characters here. It just shows you this story of like shedding the skins of our old selves to implement a new way of thinking, a new way of consciousness. And the earth is the completion of those rounds. It's like, I think a lot of times people think there's an aha moment or yes moment, and the yes moment is now. Have that faith within yourself now. And like, this is further accompanied by our other cards, because I asked for clarification and I was hoping to get some minor arcanas just so then I can get some daily just some advice from what to do day-to-day energy. Spirit was like, no. Spirit came through with the Judgment and the Death card. So Judgment is like the calling of action, the moving through transition, the transformation, the alchemizing of your talents, the innocence of the child and the spiritual understanding of the elder to transition you through this grieving process. Because I think the collective has been grieving for a very, very long time now. And it could be physical grief, it could be symbolic grief, but there still is a sun at the back of the card. And if the sun is present, and also we've got the sun, oh my God, okay. So we got the sun at the bottom of the deck for the Modern Witch. Guess what card was underneath?
The Hierophant. Oh no, the Fool. Yeah, I know the Fool is very close by in a lot of these readings because we are entering a new path, a new walkway, right? But just to add more to that reading, because what I really saw is like Taurus season has specifically had like a lot of I don't know, like Earth Day was in Taurus season, and I think we're starting to really be conscious about this. Again, this lunar cycle, I think for me is really going to bring into our conscious minds the effects we're having on the earth. Like, do you know what I mean? Like physically, like not like what we're doing in like us as individuals, but like what these corporations are doing, what capitalism is doing. And when I saw
100.
the earth, and when I saw the earth crying into that cup, and it made me think about how we're making these changes for this new earth that we want, right? Because the cry that the earth is almost like spiritually crying over the degradation, like how it's been treated, the same way we have been treated on a micro level, right? We have been like just taken advantage of, like, and I just feel like it's a reflection of that, right? And
100. Like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but basically, what did I say at the start of the reading? The celestial forces around you, the celestial forces are like we spoke about this in private chats, but like we even though we're spiritual baddies on these streets, we're also babies in terms of the universe. We are children in terms of the universe. So if the celestial forces are reminding us that the earth is shredding and crying because once it's so open, it's a reflection how we can open ourselves to that information. We're experiencing, even though we've all experienced pain in our lives, we're having a reflection on a micro level because we are human, but the earth is a planet in a system of celestial forces and spiritual it's literally been here for a very long time.
We're also earth guardians, isn't it? We are the guardians of the earth, and I think that's all of us, whether it's the smallest plant, like smallest bird, like a robin, for example, or like us as humans. We are the guardians of this earth. We are protecting this earth, and I think we're all being called more to see our roles in that and see the injustices around us and recognize the impact it is having. Like a lot of us are like, beam me up, Scotty, like I don't want to be on earth next time, I want to be a star, etc. But like for me, being here on this earth, I'm starting to recognize how glorious it is to be a human. And even though like it is so hard, I think what is happening here is we're recognizing like our power and our roles, like why our souls kind of were like, maybe we need to be here. Like there's some, I don't know, like for me, even the judgment card and the death card is kind of like you said, the calling to a higher purpose, but also for that to happen, a lot of stuff has to be let go, like the death process has happened. And then again, the lunar eclipse is going to be happening in Scorpio, right? It's going to be happening in the death process. And I think a lot of us are going to be mourning, like you said, collective grief. And the grief is not only going to be our own, it's going to be collective. I'm finding it harder and harder not to tap into other people's grief. Like I really am starting to understand like the collective just suffering that we're going through, but also that also allows me to see the collective liberation that we are putting forward.
But I love that because it just shows the optimism, and like
Sagittarius rising.
Exactly. If we don't have hope, what do we have?
What are we doing this for?
Exactly. I've pulled some oracle cards, not oracle cards, sorry.
Oh, last thing I wanted to say is like the tower card is really interesting because it's like I said when I was like, you're in a crumbling building, right? But you have to create your own foundations. And I find it really cute that they sat on a tree, which is a reflection of the earth, right?
Yes.
Because it's almost like they rooted down into something that is part of is life itself, right? And that building is man-made, and it's again about how these man-made institutions, these man-made thought processes are no longer working, and there is things that we were born with that we can root down in and allow us to get through this process. We can trust this earth. This earth can hold us through this process. Our community can hold us through this process. We can do this, but one of the things like one of my mentors says is that if you can't, if it's easy, do it now. And if it's hard, we can do it together. And it's one of the sayings that always carry with me because I'm like, you know what? We can do this as a collective, as a community.
That's so beautiful. No, it's so true. Like, oh, Bree, out here. So yeah, I guess we close the reading with a few affirmation cards, and it has to be, you know, say your mind affirmation cards. I love it because the thing is, these cards are actually gold dust now. You know?
Oh, I don't have those ones. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, this is like I got there. I want to see there's 24 of them. And oh my goodness, actually, this exclusive. So there's 24 cards in this deck. I have 25. I don't know how, but I've got 2 of this card. And I remember it happened and I was like, should I email? Should I let them know? And I was like, but I kind of like the fact that I'm special. So you know what, let me read that one first, the one that I have 2 of, and maybe it was my spirit team being like, you need to get this message right in your head. I think you'll understand why when I read it out. It says, whoa, God. The spirit was like, whoa, okay. I'm a magnet attracting love in its purest form. Love is always available to us. It is sometimes available in a form that we are not accustomed to seeing it. Trust that you are love and therefore you attract love. Look for love's presence everywhere you go.
I love that. Honestly, the love guru over here.
Literally, that's like basically now my calling. The next one says, blessings continue to slide into the DMs of my higher consciousness. Bop DM talks. As you're reading this, your higher self is welcoming blessings that will serve you in the biggest of ways.
I love that.
The next one, I'm more than a snack. I'm the recommended 5 a day. You're tasty and you're also nutritious. You add value to everything and everyone you interact with. Thank you.
Amazing.
And last one, I'm pouring into the divine cup that is me. Enjoy the sensuality of giving back to yourself. You are the source of your creativity. Replenish yourself fully and often.
And that's really a message for this solar eclipse. Believe in your source. Rest, drink water, and love a friend. I don't know, like, you know.
No, but it's true. Like, I feel like, no, that was beautiful. And thank you, Spirit. I closed the reading now, but you just said such good advice that I have to take you to the next segment. So the next segment is the direct message. And we are literally leaving listeners with a take-home message. Ree, what you just said was great. I need some more. Let me know.
Oh, wow. I really want. So for me, it's just like, be gentle with yourself, be compassionate. Yeah. Compassion is like, I don't know, like it's going even further than love in this case because it is all encompassing, right? It will accept you as you are. And obviously love is compassion as well, but I'm just saying, like, specifically that form of love, self-love, is compassion. And I really want people to have that from themselves as their mind feels like it's attacking them and as they are feeling vulnerable. And I just hope that with rest, with water, like, love on yourself. It's Taurus season, right? Like, like, love on yourself. Like, eat the food you want to eat, drink the drink you want to drink, have a bath with petals in, be extra, like, do all the Taurus stuff, do all the Venus stuff, because honestly, like I said, there were so many early in the episode, I said there were so many transits that are happening alongside this eclipse that are supporting it to be gentle. And if you work with the energies of Venus, if you work with the energies of the moon, like we can do this.
100%. Honestly, 100%. Like, that was such a beautiful direct message. I'm literally going to use what I used as our caption for our girls' night out on Saturday, last Saturday. And I'm basically going to let listeners know, like, Taurus season said, make time for joy because pain always makes time for itself. Let's eat, rest, and play. And I think, like, well, to reaffirm what Ree said, it's just understanding that you have so much, you are worthy of so much than what has been forced upon you. And I just want to encourage listeners to remind themselves that the behaviors that they take are also actions to self-love. So if we're talking about, like, let's be compassionate to our minds, like Ree said, we can also be compassionate with our behaviors that we can implement, whether that's making habits, maybe you, I don't know, you make a really good meal for yourself on Monday, so Tuesday you don't have to cook again. You know, it's just like looking out for future you in ways that are just, oh my goodness, sorry, I nearly took myself out of my microphone. But it's like looking out for yourself, looking out for future you. It's 11:11. Oh no, it's not 11, it's 11:10. But looking out for your future self in ways that are affirming, that are accepting, that are nurturing, just like the Empress energy of just convolting an environment which loves on you just as much as you'd like to be loved on. That's my direct message. Yeah. Honestly, that was great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I thoroughly enjoyed being here. I think we need to just start our own podcast.
Literally, like, you're gonna just have to, like, I'm gonna have to make another sub-series. I've already got 3.
Oh my
god. Me and Ree chatting waffle.
Literal waffle.
Well,
you need to.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, you go.
You go first.
No, I can't remember what I was going to say.
I was going to say, well, I don't want to obviously say your announcements, but when you release more video content in the social spheres, I'd love to have you back on, because I think it would be a great place for conversation, great place for promotion. Yeah, I love having you on. I love talking to you. I think I've learned so much from you over our short. I've literally only known you since August, and I've learned so much from you. Like,
you lasted longer than my last relationship. So
screaming. Well, like, some people for seasons, some people for reasons. You know, like, that's literally it.
I love shade. That.
No shade.
Why are we so funny?
I think we're hilarious. Honestly, like, I feel like if we did have even though this is pretty, like, it's not like X-rated, but it's like pretty no filter anyway. I feel like if we were to go, like, all in, like, that, fucking the Patreons would fucking love that. Can you imagine? Like, just exclusive, like, I don't know, just drag or heel, I don't know, like some good shit like that.
Aries and Mercury, like, that's literally what we'd have to call the podcast.
Oh, I like it, the Aries and Mercury, and it's like all feelings cannot be, no, disclaimer, if, oh my god, did you see my head just go off then? But like, disclaimer, if you want to listen to us, you have to understand that we're Aries and Mercury's, aka your feelings, if they're hurt, that's your business. But no, I'm joking. I'm joking, spirit. But no, honestly, I've had such a pleasure of having you on. I've mentioned, so you're on Instagram as Ree the Oracle, REETHEORACLE. I'll put it in the show notes. Is there anywhere else that people can find you? Do you want to plug your plug anything and everything?
No, there is nothing else. I'm not on many socials at the moment because I am the early stage of millennial. Like, I'm just not learning new skills at this age. But I'm on Instagram. I I post daily music oracles. I also have a weekly music oracle where you can ask questions. I'm going to be releasing my website soon, and therefore you'll be able to book readings with me. If you do want to book a reading with me beforehand, you can DM me and I can fit you in. But I'm going to do automatic bookings hopefully very soon. I have a workshop again on Monday, the 2nd of May. When you hear this, there will not be a lot of time to book, but if you do want to come on, please DM me. There's a what's it called?
Waiting list?
A sliding scale.
Oh, sliding scale.
Yeah, the sliding scale so it's really attainable, and no one will be turned away because of lack of funds, because we want to support the community and be accessible. And yeah, I hope to see some of you there.
No, definitely. Booking with Ree is also you booking or investing in your spiritual health. And I think this is something that like will always be of value to you. Like it doesn't matter if you pick up cards or you're into astrosphere, or if you just want to learn about personal development, like all of this will contribute to you living your best authentic life. So book the ting. I'm your host, Seerah DM. You can book a reading with me on my website, DM.Seerah.com. You can also join my Patreon. You can join my Discord group chat where we're all having spiritual conversations. Instagram is DM.talks. But yeah, I think that's it. I've really, really enjoyed being with you guys today. I'm sure I'll see you guys next week. But until then, I'll see you later. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.